Hello there! Welcome to the ReZero podcast. I'm your host, Wolf.
I'm your host, Gold.
I'm your host, Connor.
And today, gentlemen, we will be discussing ReZero Arc 10, chapters 1 to 8. Whoa, it's here!
We're here, boys. Arc 10.
It's a momentous occasion.
Truly.
Double digits.
Oh my god, it is double. That's crazy.
Yeah, welcome to the second half of the story, right?
Yeah, second half, guys. Welcome. What?
And first things first, we all have homework, don't we? We have more side content we need to do.
Yes.
This time, not even canon, and we're gonna need to pick it up.
Yeah.
I think it'd be fun
Yeah,
to
it will.
sit around and just stream this game
yeah,
at some
honestly,
point.
that'd be kind of funny.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, it's not like the first time non-canon stuff has been relevant, because like the if routes have been relevant the past couple of arcs as well.
that's true. Yeah. So, for those who don't know, we have some. Well, if you don't know why you're here, don't get spoiled, please. We don't want to spoil ReZero for you. But if you do know, there is some characters that are introduced in these chapters that are in the ReZero game, Prophecy of the Throne, I believe, which is a visual novel style game with like some free roam elements, from what I understand, and there's kind of mixed consensus within the ReZero community, but we might want to play it now because it's kind of relevant.
Yeah. Apparently, Tapei is a big enough fan that he has brought characters from that into the main story.
And
Two confirmed, one suspicion, one suspected. Yes.
And a whole world-building concept too, which is really funny.
All right. Yeah. So, I mean, we're in the political arc, y'all.
Yes.
We already have like an issue of like separation of church and state and a potential total upheaval of the royal selection. I mean, that's crazy. And so much reference to EX1. I could not be happier.
Oh, I'm so happy.
Here is the arc, everybody. The arc about Lagunica.
The land of the Lion Kings. Oh,
The Lion Kings.
Mm-hmm.
The last of the Lion Kings. Or maybe not.
dun dun dun.
Yeah. Maybe not. So, for anyone at home that doesn't know and has missed the fact that this is the case, and we've mentioned it in several podcasts already, the three of us, huge EX1 fans. We love that story. We love the main characters in it, all three of them. It's obviously extremely relevant now.
Yeah. It's just peak. No one can deny peak, okay? And at this point, I'm going to be honest, just as like a reader in general, if you out there are watching this podcast right now, reading Arc 10, and you haven't read EX1, highly recommend it. I can't recommend it enough, honestly.
Yeah, it's genuinely just some of the best ReZero content that's out there is EX1.
And hugely relevant right now,
Yes.
especially.
It adds so much depth to a lot of the stakes within even just these chapters like 1 to 8 that we are covering, right? And very likely case that the next podcast you'll be seeing is EX1 because of how relevant it is, and we love it so much.
Yeah. Almost assuredly.
Which our previous masterpiece podcast of EX1 got destroyed.
The Great Lost podcast.
Turned into nothingness. We lost our memories of it.
Turned to atoms. But
Just a bit of corruption that we've made sure has never happened again.
yeah,
But
we've been very thorough on that now.
Needless to say, we're big fans of their themes, we're big fans of the characters, we're big fans of the story, and the fact that we got, like, not even just, Felix mourning over Fourier's grave, but just Crucia's perspective from the beginning scene of EX1 as well it's so peak. I'm so happy.
It's so good. And so we have a lot of fun stuff to talk about today. I think ultimately the thing that's really going to be exciting about this arc is, as we've already mentioned and we mentioned before, this is the politics arcs, guys. Like we got some hintings of politics and like such in obviously previous arcs, and especially in the Valakia arcs where we're starting to build more in the world building and like actual rulership philosophies in this world and such. But now we're back to Lagunica, and it's not looking as generic fantasy anymore, huh?
Yeah, no, not at all. It's some high quality stuff actually. All right, so what do we want to start for main discussions? Like, do we want to jump into the political change that's happened here with how are we saying it? Filore?
Filore.
Yeah, it's
Filor?
called Filore. It's
Filore?
that's the most English satisfying way
Yeah.
to say it. So say
So
Filore.
with her entrance onto the scene as our new sixth slash fifth Royal Dragon candidate.
Rip Priscilla.
Yeah, that I mean that's actually a good question to bring up real quick. Do you think it's like, oh, it's been replaced, or do
It
you
almost
think how do you?
certainly. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's very much, I think, now that one is like confirmed gone, not from a political circumstance, but just dead, and one has to fill the place because of the Dragonstone prophecy saying it has to be 5, right?
Possibly, but there could also be some like weird manipulations going on with if this isn't Filore and it's like just a someone basically kind of turned into a healthier, physically not malnourished version of Felt, who could be the real Filore. Then it might just be reacting to her because of some magical connection we don't understand yet.
Yeah. But it's interesting because as a whole setup, this scenario is kind of making everyone rethink like the initial boundaries of the story that was set out, especially in Arc 3, right? Where we have all of these royal selection candidates, and we're going to have this royal selection. It's a battle, and it's a race, and it's an election. And Subaru is thinking as much in these chapters of like, yeah, I'm just used to elected officials, so this being a thing is normal. And then when he's challenged and told, if one of these people is actually one of the royals, it would invalidate the royal selection, right? Because it's an interregnum, and like if there's an actual heir, then there's no need for this.
Mm-hmm. Which is it's a big shakeup that not only are there now two competing theories on different candidates being this long lost daughter of Ford, but that if either of them are confirmed, it could ruin the whole selection. I don't think it's like guaranteed that it'll end the royal selection if either of them are it, just that there's a potential that it could happen.
I think the fact that we don't really they can't really prove it at the moment is actually very interesting because it's like, well, these two are both. I mean, Felt's not even saying that she is. Just other people kind of assume so.
And Rom is kind of pushing the envelope a bit, right? Is her strategist, which I think is, it's interesting too because, like politically, this is a really hard situation to overcome for Felt and for Krush, because ultimately, I think what's interesting is the opinion that the dragon is holding back Lagunica is clearly not supposed to be a very widespread opinion within Lagunica itself, right?
Yeah.
No, it's like a personal belief of Krush.
I also think that, many people. Well, it's actually very interesting because many people in Lagunica have heard stories about the dragon blessing their crops and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And that hasn't really happened in a while, but there's been times in which the dragon has come in and protected Lagunica in the known, people's known memory.
Yeah.
And that, is kind of a rebellious thing to think and state outright like Krush does. She kind of has a moment where it's like, well, if she is saying that she's rebelling against the dragon, and then it turns out that she is somewhat supporting it, like what does that mean for Krush? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we'll get into that later with the way that this has gone down. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. I want to add as well that I think it is also super interesting that not only is this a potential new candidate, but like at the last time we see her speak, they're bringing up like, I'm already a year and a half behind. We have a lot of work to do to catch up.
Yeah.
So she's not making any moves to invalidate the royal selection as a potential princess, but is fully on board with competing against the rest and completing the prophecy.
I mean, I think that kind of viewpoint wasn't what I was expecting going into this arc. I think most people weren't, right? This idea that she initially even like, well, we don't know how true it is. We don't know if there's any weird scheming going along. I'm sure there is. But a part of it is like she is openly willing to talk to people and she's willing to do whatever and isn't like let's get this done right now. She isn't pushing for that. She's pushing to be a candidate like everybody else, which is interesting.
And credits to pay here, right? This is a really well written, well building, and like a cultural understanding from like the common citizenry of Lagunica, where like if it was just one candidate like fell, looking like the royal, and rumors being spread about that being a thing, it would be enough to give her support. But because there isn't any immediate proof, it's not a big issue that can be confronted and figured out easily. But now that there's two contenders for who this person is, it forces this to be a reckoning moment for like the entire country, which is it's a really smart way to make Lagunica have to reevaluate this whole scenario and put the royal selection potentially at risk, which kind of could interrupt the whole through line of the story. So this now adds so many potential directions of where the story can go, because like the royal selection itself can go haywire. Like I can see that happening in the story. Like it may not necessarily definitely happen, but it is potential, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's already been. I mean, the wrench has already been thrown into it.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it was the royal selection was designed with the possibility of candidates dying, because otherwise it'd be like, as Felt said, that whoever just has the strongest knight would kill the others and take the throne. So the fact that it's filling itself back in it's kind of a ingenious mechanism for the selection itself. But kind of piggybacking, I want to give Tappei credit on the specific person, or not really the specific person, but the archetype that Filore fills as another candidate, because it's one that was missing previously, where we had like your standard uptight spoiled princess, you had your idealistic young outsider, you had the anarchist populist movement, the capitalist economy, and the hyper competent military leader. And so having one now that is like a voice of the church is another super huge aspect of not just like medieval but fantasy overall that wasn't really present. Like Amelia being in tune with the spirits is probably the closest we had to like a divine holy candidate. But now we straight up have a girl that dresses in a nun outfit.
Literally can call herself a saintess, according to how the church runs. So yeah, it adds an interesting dynamic, especially because I think it's also a nod from Tappei himself saying, yeah, like this world building may initially not have been quite there, but he's been able to organically bring it in and say, yeah, the church has been separated for a while, but now this adds a whole new interesting dynamic of church and state, right? As you were saying earlier, like, is there going to be more separation? Because if this candidate wins, the church might become more involved politically, which in itself is like obviously not normal for Lagunica, as it's already been stated, but also adds a really interesting like metaphors and interesting political discussion in the story itself of what is the role of religion. Is this religion valid? Are there corrupt elements? But if there are corrupt elements, are there also elements that are worthy of attention and actually being genuinely practiced, right?
Yeah, and like the church didn't even want to be part of this. From their explanations, it seems like Filore took it upon herself to go in and present her abilities as an option, and then went off to perform the healing without the church's consent.
Yeah.
Like that they were still trying to remain neutral in all this, and she just waltzed up and said, I can fix this, let me go fix this. Here, it's fixed.
Which is also a really smart writing decision for Tappei, because this also means that you could doubt this character, be like, hold on, is there some sneaky shit going on here? But then you can also say, maybe she is genuine. Because it's like, is there scheming or is this genuine? And this is where the kind of interesting conversation comes about her. Like, has this been schemed and set up? Is this really Filore? Conspiracy theories abound, right?
Yeah. Because, I mean, we were speculating from the first time we saw her that this isn't Filore or whatever. This is obviously Capella.
Yeah.
Although I do want to take a bit of credit. I threw in some doubt the last time we recorded about it actually being Capella. I feel pretty justified. I don't think there's a chance in hell that Filore is Capella herself, because there's no way an archbishop can remain that composed and in character for so long.
Too crazy.
Yeah, they are too self-aggrandizing. They wouldn't be able to contain it. She's acting like a normal, sheltered 15-year-old girl,
But that
which, I mean, good writing, but it's also, I don't think this could be Capella. Her scheme, probably,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's actually her.
I do almost think it's certain that she has a hand in what's going on here, right? Which is interesting because it's very much like a proxy war almost of the witch cult saying, "Yeah, this is my candidate."
There's influence here that I think it cannot be denied. I also think that I wouldn't be surprised, let's just say, if this miracle that is being reformed has something to do with Capella, right?
Yeah.
Because let's think about it. Capella's own infection, how do you cure it if it isn't Capella? You know what I mean? Like,
Well, so that's kind of a thought I had. And this is a bit of a stretch, but it's just connecting different points of the lore that we have together. So, we know what cured Subaru's dragon blood issues was the Olgarm curse, right? That the curse conflated with the dragon blood and it broke it. And we know from Betty that curse art specifically come from Gusteco, where they have their own powerful church tied in with the government. So if this is like a sacrament, similar to the sacrament of the Immortal King, it could be a curse art that they have learned from other holy practitioners that is then able to counteract the dragon blood.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good shout. I mean, the themes are very similar, and I think, out of anything, right? As we were talking about before, like religion hasn't really been on the forefront of ReZero proper yet. And because it really hasn't been on the forefront, the only real inklings of what a religion is at this point, even in supplementary material, has been Gusteco.
Yes.
Now, that said, there has been writing that Astraea has done about the border conflicts between Lagunica and Gusteco. There's definitely a desire for Gusteco to have more influence with Lagunica and also to flee from all the political upheaval in Gusteco. That said, that is also where Capella operates.
Yes, it is.
There's definitely a lot of things going on with that. And yeah, I mean, the thing with like religion as like connotation, because we don't really know her genuineness or not, right? But she seems to be somebody, as you said, who is a 15-year-old girl who, if this is an act, is very well acted of pretty much being like,
Earnest
she
and
has
endearing.
yeah, earnest and endearing, but she also has companions that seem to, follow her in the name of the church. And at that point, right, like that theme coming into the story now is more interesting if it's earnest from somebody, right?
It is.
Yeah.
So I think this is a good time where I want to speak to kind of a grander conspiracy that I've put together from these chapters. Don't have all the pieces yet, but based on the limited amount of things I do know from Prophecy of the Throne, right? That's the game.
Yeah.
So the main character of that is a very similar character to Falore, where it's a young girl, potential candidate, even has the same two escorts, goes by the name of Melty. And she, as I learned from doing some research for the D&D campaign that we did a few episodes of, is a member of the Evil Eye tribe that can control people to an extent, more like heavily influence, like a nice charm effect to them when she has physical touch against them, which she made sure to do with Subaru and Amelia in that scene where they're all speaking and having fun together as they started to kind of not fall for her, but like get super friendly and chummy with her. So if that's a way to sort of bring them under her influence and under the church's influence, I suspect that this character is not Flore in that she is actually Melty, and that Capella has changed her appearance either recently at some point, and has also replaced Roy and is using that as a method to show off the healing prowess of the church by having him give Crucia's memories back as Melty Falore heals Crucia's physical ailments.
And the reason why this is so, like, the whole plot part of Gluttony is apparently dead, but
yeah,
but he is not dead, guys. Like, there's no
a body destroyed beyond ruin is not a body in fiction. That is a clue.
It's a clue, yeah. And it's like, and the way it's destroyed very much ties into, oh, Capella did some shit with her powers to make it look like this. Clearly,
yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. I do appreciate kind of the level of detail that went into obscuring that crime too, though.
Yes.
However, the difficulty of it is going to make it a really small list of suspects that could be involved in this. When Capella's name does come up, it's going to be pretty hard to deny that one.
That said, there's also a character that I think we're going to see in the story eventually. This wolf character in Prophecy of the Throne, which seems to be, an assassin as well.
One of Capella's children, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you're right. Yep.
So it's
Elsa 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Well, not only Elsa, but we do have Melee with us in this arc, and who should recognize anyone else from that.
Yes. What's interesting here about this too is that Melee has had her own character arc of like self-actualization and kind of coming to terms with her own past and being a better person. And now is the perfect time in her development to have her be confronted with the demons from her past, right? And it's all tying together so beautifully. I love how Tappei set this up.
It is. My one thing is, of course, Tappei found another way to delay Rem getting her memories back forever.
Yeah, he's like, Subaru? Easy time? No.
He's cooking it.
He's
really drawn this one out. And I like it because I think it adds a lot of drama to the series, of course. Like, the idea that maybe one day she'll get it back, and everything keeps on not going into place. But we still have Rem around, right? So that it's
she's been great in Arc 10 already. Like, very, very fun.
The thing that worries me about this arc in particular is I feel this arc is definitely where we're going to see some permanent character deaths. Is my strong suspicion. And I'm scared that Rem being here means she's in danger.
I don't think so.
It's not
for anyone in our main group, we do have to remember that until Roswell goes through like a complete character overhaul or has his own issues handled, everyone there is safe in the long run. Because if anyone dies, then Roswell's going to burn everything down and Super's going to have to reset till he fixes it.
Here's my pondering, because we've specifically had it set up that Roswell is removed from the main group and is in the Bariel domain with Schult right now, right? And I'm worried that this is setting up a situation where Tappei is trying to set up a climax of someone important has died, and he's trying to get Subaru to reset, and Subaru can't fix it.
Perhaps.
Yeah, that could happen eventually, I think. One thing that I'll note about this is that, like, a part of... And it can change on a dime, because that's how Tappei writes his stories, right? Is... So far, this arc isn't going to be about the Amelia camp, really. You know what I mean? So, any drama involving them needs to slowly be built up. I mean, I said that wasn't the case, but, suddenly Petra becomes the main character of the last arc. So, I mean, things can change on a whim, I don't know what happens next chapter if we suddenly get super focused on, like, Melee, as you said. Like, I don't know, but
it's.
I mean, honestly, as long as Rem is around, I'm happy. She was great in these chapters. Really sweet moments. Definitely feeding into our wish for the end of the three-way relationship
so many cute interactions.
I mean, Rem and Amelia were flirting with each other. I'm gonna hold that. That is what was happening in that scene.
I was straight up blushing, man. It was so cute.
Exactly.
But
she's also getting some nice moments with Betty, which is a connection I don't think has ever happened before.
No.
If those two interacting,
No, they don't interact ever, really.
They kind of missed
Actually,
each
yeah,
other.
I don't think they've ever really interacted on screen that much.
When,
They
when
might
I
have
think
done
they
it in
may
like
have said
bits.
words
Yeah.
like against each other in Memory Snow,
Mhm.
but that is it.
There isn't much of a relationship there before, but now there's one starting to be built, which is very exciting. And
Very
Rem, as
sweet one.
as you were saying, Rem is great as always. She's doing a great job of keeping Subaru focused and on track. And in ironic, like in a really, I love the dialogue and banter in these chapters specifically because it is just so not only just so ReZero, but it's so these characters actualized. Like Topay does such a good job of consistently keeping these characters in their zone and making their dialogue just them. You know, like Rem having this moment where she's consoling Subaru, but because this is provincial Rem, she's making fun of him too, and is making light of, wow, you're more messed up about this than I am. Isn't that fucking weird?
Yeah.
Yep. I like that scene. That was a good scene.
It's also really I think especially after the speaker character arc and the Valakia arc, it's really interesting seeing Subaru react to such a visceral quote unquote death happening to a Sid Archbishop, and it's just like I don't want to see that. That is traumatizing, and I'm so glad you
Yeah,
weren't
it's
there.
I
One thing-
hated the guy, but no one deserves what happened to him. Damn.
Yeah. Well, one thing I want to clarify: does Subaru remember what happened last arc?
He has a vague sense of the end state of things, but
Mhm.
doesn't know the
Very
strict
end.
details.
Yeah, so he doesn't
Because
have the
in this,
part
he's
where-
talking about Roy, and he's like, "Well, this guy, he was actually that. Maybe we could talk about things with him,
Yeah, it's
Well, his point was that if Al was able to convince him to work with him, then dialogue and communication aren't wholly out the window. And he knows that Al was able to do that because I think he could sense who was around
Yes.
vaguely and knew Roy was helping with them, knew Rem was fixed, thus could piece together that Al was able to convince Roy to release Rem.
yeah. So it
Right,
was,
that's what I was confused about. I was like, how does he know that he was helping and recruited by Al, and if he was in the orb? But I guess he just guessed it when he came out.
yeah, it was deduction basically. It's like it's a reasoning of if this is possible, there's only really one way it could be, right? And
Yeah.
it's him. What's interesting about the previous arc is like all the themes coming together and stuff, but also like how little and how much Subaru knows at the same time, where he kind of has a general idea about some things, but because he doesn't know specific pathways, it means he's not like got a Deus Ex mark in a moment where he could solve everything immediately.
Yeah, like I don't think he knows, say, who Klein is or
No.
the potential of like Petra becoming like a full-blooded witch, like even more than Amelia is.
No.
But he knows that everyone was fighting to save him, that a lot of people got hurt. Al was a fucking monster.
And he feels the accompanying like emotions that everyone was feeling. So like he very much has an understanding of the emotional weight of the previous arc at the very least. Corleone's being busted, man.
It is. It really, really is.
Yeah, it's a good ability, that's for sure.
But Otto is back being Prime Minister, Kun. That's my boy. Politics is his game. Merchant?
Yeah, his
Prime Minister time.
his conversation with Reinhardt was really illuminating to his character. Like he's got a good understanding of the way that things are.
He's trying to play the game, he's really trying to. It's interesting. What was the quote that he had? He was like, I'm gonna try to get somebody to drop out at Krush, right? Is that what he said? He was like,
I know he said that like this is the end of Krush's time in the royal selection.
yeah.
He
So
says
said.
like basically without a doubt he knows that this ends Krush's aspirations to be king. It's
Although I do think Krush made the only politically
savvy situation.
a fixable move in that scenario of, I mean, if we want to move on to talking about this, of the big decision at the end of she's fired Felix as her knight
Yeah.
for betraying like the core ideals that they agreed on in EX1.
Yeah, and it's reading that story and then reading like this culmination of their characters it's just there's so much depth to their relationship with each other, to their relationship with Foria, and how it relates to their own relationship with each other. And the basic, it's kind of hard to talk about this without talking like light EX1 spoilers, I guess. So,
I mean, we can talk to the end state of it, of Krush joining the royal selection is how EX1 finishes up, of making the claim that we need to break off from the dragon, and that's going to have some hardships, but at the end of it, like, that sacrifice will be worth it overall. But if Krush is not willing to make that sacrifice herself,
that's hypocrisy.
As taking help from it. Yeah, it's total hypocrisy. So breaking away from Felix is the only move that she can make here that will work. It's devastating for him.
And it's the interlude for that, like, from Krush's perspective, it's so brilliantly written, by the way, because there's a moment near the end where she keeps on thinking the sentences she's going to say to Felix after learning this information about how he saved her, right? And making that decision. And she keeps on thinking of saying the nice thing to him, saying, I understand, trying to empathize. But the words that do come out are the things that she's really deep down feeling underneath. And I think for the first time, we see, like, genuine resentment and, like, a truly dark feeling from Krush in the story. Because before it was sad what was happening to her, and it was tragic, but there wasn't like this undertone of, like, hatred or resentment, or, like, giving up. And that very much came to fruition here. A very dark moment for these characters.
They're more for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be hard, because, like, you're a Krush in this scenario, and you're coming to for the first time in, like, a year and a half since you lost your memory, and you're conscious and aware of the situation and of what has just happened, and your entire life's ethos has just been destroyed because you couldn't get out of bed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's got to be weighing on her as well that she wasn't able to stand it. And I'm curious to see her feelings of probably inadequacy when she looks at Subaru, who was able to overcome it, not only, like, fix it, quote, on his own, but not be bogged down by the pain of it. Not obviously knowing that he's immune for whatever reason, but that he was able to get by and still function. Yeah.
And the thing is there's a lot of parallels between Subaru and Foria as a character, and I think for Krush, in this moment, it's probably really hard to interact with Subaru, probably seeing a lot of Foria in him, which she almost certainly does, and seeing this feeling of, like, I have betrayed him, and there's this person that's kind of not one-for-one filling his role. Obviously, they are different people, but, like, kind of like seeing a silhouette there, almost, right? And it's probably almost like a ghost to her, haunting her, because the moment he touches her hand, she whispers, like, genuine words of, like, revulsion, right? Of, like, genuine deep depression. And it's
She has, like, a nervous breakdown.
Yeah, she has a nervous breakdown. Like, it's genuinely traumatizing seeing Krush this way. My king!
I would still be behind her.
Exactly.
I would understand the circumstance. Be like, the witch cult fucked her over and other shit restored it. That's irrelevant to her political stance of the kingdom not needing the dragon.
Mm-hmm. But then comes the hypocrisy element, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But and you are right in saying she probably made the best political move possible in removing Felix from her camp and using that as a political tool to say, okay, this was hypocrisy not of my own choosing, and I choose to reinforce that. Issue being is that Felix is, even though Felix probably doesn't feel this way, Felix is really important to the Krush camp for a lot of reasons. One, he's the blue, and he's like a very influential and powerful mage, right? But two, his and Krush's relationship is fundamental to the dynamic of the camp, because they're taking on of each other's gender roles for each other is like the story beat that helps them push forward and try to accomplish this dream they hold together. So symbolically, Felix saying, I can't be Ferris anymore, wearing, like, average normal male clothes, is the like true visual showing of the severing of this relationship, right?
Yeah.
And it's
when
I read that, the sorrow that filled my heart was like just pure and solid.
Yeah,
I can
devastating.
I can see how in Tappei's original draft, Felix could end up as a villain.
I was
if
going to
this was
say-
the trigger point.
I think this
Yes.
might be the trigger point.
Yeah, this seems like the trigger point, because what's going to happen from here on out, I don't know, with Ferris, right?
Mhm.
Or Felix. And because of that, course that's being taken, what is his new identity? You know what I mean?
Yeah, just as Felix Argyle instead
Yeah.
of Ferris.
Because everybody else is having their own issues. Julius, Reinhard. There's no room for Felix to lean on anybody that he knows personally would help him. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
He doesn't want to betray Krush by joining any of the camps.
Yep.
There's no real avenue, and that is the reason why I think, when we theorized before the arc even started, this idea that he would help Capella, this is one of the reasons why, because I think he wants to still be in the camp's dealings,
Mhm.
but by learning something, if he learns, if for example Felix learns that the way in which Krush was healed was some sort of manipulation, whether it be by manipulating her memories or manipulating her body in some way, it would then add reason for him to be like, oh, I can act behind the scenes with you too. You know what I mean?
And it being one-sided is important there too, right? Of I have to help Krush, I have to save
Yeah,
her.
one side. Krush doesn't want him to help, but he will still try to.
Yeah, and it's gonna
Very much a parallel to Subaru in that regard.
Exactly,
Yeah. You aren't really wanted here.
It's
I
so
could see a world where Felix does become Folore's knight, because she's going to need one as part of being in the royal selection.
Mhm.
Obviously, she has the sponsor of the church, but each of the candidates are meant to have a knight, and at this point, Folore and Krush don't have a designated active knight in the military for them.
Yeah. I see a world where Krush is gonna make Wilhelm the knight, potentially, as the replacement. Which man,
I could, but
Felix.
I want to throw out another potential for that. Something that came up during Otto and Reinhardt's discussion.
Oh yeah.
Of that there is another knight whose main goal is just explicitly Reinhardt's camp can't win. That needs a new sponsor to join up with.
He's pretty tough.
Yeah, he might be able to reconcile his issues with his father if someone comes in and joins the Krush camp instead.
It's Heinkel time, baby. Ooh.
It's Heinkel time.
And
I feel like that slot fits open, but he could also join Folore.
He could also join Folore.
Which would also be interesting.
And it would continue the theme of Heinkel always picking the losing side. This poor man.
Yeah. But it would also tie into the I feel like Astraea needs to be with Folore in order to match the sense of legitimacy that Felt gets by having Reinhardt at her side.
And similar for Krush having Wilhelm, even though he's not her knight, right?
Well, in that, if you look at the two candidates who both match the description of the missing princess, but one of them has the Sword Saint backing them, that's the one you're going to think is real.
Yeah, because the Sword Saint's opinion is above all, right? At this point.
Yes. But if you have another Astraea, who's second in command of the entire military, backing the other one, someone who was more aware and active at the time of her disappearance, that would boost her legitimacy too.
Yeah.
The military aspect of this is going to be interesting too, because we got stuff with Marcos and all this stuff.
Yeah, Marcos' cool.
I love Marcos. He's so fun. For a character that has been in the story for such a small amount of time, he has such an imposing and interesting presence.
He'll probably be relieved that Felix is just going by Felix and doesn't have to worry about two names anymore.
Yeah, he's one of those kind of middle-aged guys.
Yeah.
Well, it's because in EX 4,
He's
I
confused
think.
about
he
it.
was
Yeah.
he was struggling to remember, like, you're Felix, you're Ferris. I don't know.
I don't know, man.
He's Hank Hill.
Yeah.
It's
That cat boy ain't right.
That cat boy just ain't right.
oh my god. It's really interesting too, because we get this small interaction between Marcos and Wilhelm, right? And there's just so much character drama being set up in this arc. It's just so juicy. Like, there's already the Astraea family dynamic, which in itself is this really complicated web of, like, not just interesting psychological and, like, theme discussion, but also, like, great character interpersonal drama that's connecting to all of these other characters and their politics and such, and why they choose who they choose. But then we've got this extra layer of Wilhelm's shame. He was the one whose Floro was taken on his watch, right?
Mhm.
So it adds this extra level of, like, shame for Wilhelm, because whether Felt or Flore are the real one, or, like, it's very much a feeling for him of, like, this is his past coming back to bite him, and he's got this constant presence of all of his mistakes in his life, right?
Yeah. It's Wilhelm's interactions here. I mean, first off, just as a quick minor point, I do think that because the previous arc ended up getting reset, did Wilhelm actually die when
Yeah.
Heinkel stabbed him?
In
Like, we were
retrospect, I
debating
think
it
so.
before,
But
and I feel like it's probably he did. I feel like he was actually killed there.
I'm
Yeah.
almost certain textually it said that he was fine, but I could be wrong. But either way, I think the it's not even him potentially dying or not. It's the act of Heinkel stabbing him in the back that's, I think, the more
Right, that's the
impactful.
metaphor. I mean, it's a striking image. It's weird now that it's been erased, but, like, it's exactly like those times in which we see, like, Rem kill somebody, right?
Mhm.
Like, kill Subaru, for example.
Yeah.
Right? Or I guess it was Ram, but you know what I mean. Like, the idea here is, like, you're like, wow, this character that we know and love can do so much evil. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I know people don't really think that highly of Heinkel.
I
This is
do.
just one of those moments. Yeah.
I'm like, I'm rooting for this guy, even though he's made so many mistakes and he's such a fucking idiot.
It's enough to see what his next part of the story is. I mean, obviously, if all three Astraea family are in the same area together, nothing good ever comes of it. But you know,
But this is an interesting thing to talk about, especially with, like, a lot of bad ends in Arc 9 and just different directions the story is going, especially without Subaru's influence, right? Because Subaru has a lot of influence in all of these characters individually in some small way or not, right? And I think we might get a parallel situation eventually in this arc between Heinkel and Wilhelm, where perhaps we don't get the stab in the back moment, but we get the reunification of father and son. Like, we get that family healing moment, maybe with a bit of Subaru's help. And we kind of get that as an interesting parallel between the differences between how Al uses his power and causes terrible, terrible tragedy.
an anti-parallel, if you would.
Yeah, an anti-parallel. Yeah.
If Capella's involved, there could even still be a big dragon fight in the capital, but instead, this time, Heinkel, like, helps Wilhelm, and together they defeat her.
Yeah, and maybe this time around there's a chance that Wilhelm could reach even greater heights, as he was about to before Heinkel fucking ruined it.
Yeah, and achieve the heavenly sword.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for what's to come here, and all the little stuff that we've gotten along the way has already been great.
Oh my god.
However, these chapters were very wordy for how little actually happened. Like, if there's, like, one thing to say here, like, we showed up at town and we've had a few conversations, but it's been 9 chapters worth of a lot of extra descriptions and scenes that maybe could have been trimmed down a bit. So I don't know if this is, like, Tappei trying to meet, like, a word count to get a volume out, or if this is just a small hiccup that I've seen with them. Or it could even just be an extended calm before the storm that shit's about to go absolutely crazy.
I think the moment of Subaru saying, "Man, I haven't had rest in like over half a year," is just Tapei laughing at the fact that, "Oh, you think you're getting rest now?" This man
you're probably right.
This man isn't going to get his time skip for a little bit, I'm afraid. there ain't no Arc 4 to Arc 5 time skip in the near future.
We said that, hey, there's a year and a half.
Yeah.
It's really hard to get time to progress here without long distance traveling. Which, like, we can get like 1 or 2 months knocked out of the story by just how long it takes to get from A to B.
Yeah. It at least it means for the issues of this upcoming arc, Subaru is not going to be getting the rest he so desperately needs and deserves.
Yeah.
I
do appreciate Betty's little reference on how long it's been since Arc 4 ended of 11 years.
Oh, yeah, I didn't think about that. That's funny.
There was another funny, very... Oh, I love this fourth wall break where Betty is like, "Man, if I was the twist villain, like that would be such stupid shock value. Who would write that?" And then Super's like,
"Yeah, the timeline for Betty being the final boss has passed."
Yeah, that I thought about that. It's that was when I was a child. I thought about that.
Yeah,
that's what Tapei's saying. Tapei's like, yeah, that was an idea I entertained for a moment when I was really.
And then I threw it aside.
The story. Yeah, I think it's what he's saying, because obviously the Echidna connection is probably what he was thinking of. He was like, well, I mean,
for sure.
She's the most loyal to Mother, so now would she be a twist villain at the end? It's like,
but Subaru's her number one. Sorry, Echidna. It's just how the cookie crumbles. I think.
Yeah, and that Super is also a member of Beatriceism, as well as an Ameliaite and a Remite too.
That's the religion that I'm talking about.
Yeah, I convert. Mm-hmm. It's really interesting too, because I think it's also Tapei doing a bit of a meta commentary, because I think he, especially in that Arc 9 Owl Stride for Larkia comment, he really likes to make fun of the very out there crackpot theories in the community.
Yes,
I think he's very in tune with it now, and I some authors do it and it kind of feels hacky. Recently, Tapei's been doing it. It feels very natural. I know, the idea of an author being guided by the whims of their fan base is not something that people always look on fondly. It sometimes detract from a work. Mm-hmm. But I can't help but think that, like, recently he's been very free-flowing and inspired by his own story in a way that I feel like is motivated by a lot of the fans' excitement about things going on.
Yeah. And I just want to say that inspiration, like the rapid pace of putting stuff out and like the really consistent schedule, it happened to align with Rem waking up. She's helping a lot.
I think it's just the magic of a great story too, right? Where it's literally these characters are writing themselves at this point. Tapei is just letting them play out where they're going.
Yeah.
Which is it's extra impressive considering his limitations in imagination himself, right?
Yeah, of not being able to actually see the world that he's painting super vividly.
Yeah, because he needs to see it with the words.
So, where do you two see this going? Like, the general consensus, I think, obviously, is that Capella is kind of behind everything here, and she's going to be like our big bad of this arc. Mm-hmm. But like, how do we really get there? Like, what's the threat
incident, kind of?
I mean, they seeded Wrath still being in there, and that she's dangerous to even approach. Like, basically, only Reinhard can do it safely. Like, do you think we're getting a jail bus, a multi-archbishop attack on the capital this time, or is it going to be much more internal, where the camp's as like friendly as Amelia is trying to be with everyone, it just can't work here?
I think it might be kind of a bit of both. So I think initially Capella is going to be pulling strings in such a way where it's not easily exactly traceable back to her, and she's going to want to initiate inner fighting within the camps, right? So like, because if she does that, not only does that accomplish whatever the fuck her gospel was telling her to do, but also would bring her great amounts of pleasure, I'm sure, the evil creature that she is. But it then means that she has more opportunity to then, when she is directly involving, like because of the chaos, she can pull some really terrifying stuff off.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I can imagine this mostly being palace intrigue.
yeah, at least for the
Which I would be the only reason why I think that something else has to go wrong is I don't see how that involves killing Subaru over and over.
Well, Teppei has been very flexible with the way his arcs have been themed recently, in the sense that I agree with you. In a sense, like, oh, how could that happen? It could only be if Subaru's getting close to investigating things. It's like he's playing a game. Yeah, he's playing games with like a mastermind, pulling strings in the shadows. Is the way I see this arc playing out potentially, right? And the reason why I think that is because in arc 6 it was sort of like that, right? But he wasn't Subaru, right?
Yeah.
Arc 7 and 8 were political, but they were like war based, you know. Arc 9 was a pursuit. It was like everybody was chasing one person pretty much. Arc 10 can be a threat that's a lot more less horror based and more like scheming, like
Intrigue.
putting, you know, figuring out how to make connections, alliances, like who can you trust, who can you not trust,
And
like who is the
And from a thematic perspective, I think you're right on the money here, Gold, because we're at this moment where Subaru is saying, I want to learn more about this world. And we get lots of moments in these chapters where Subaru is asking questions and making deductions. Like, he immediately realizes Echidna has her hands in, like, every fucking pie. And the only reason we don't know more is because the witch cult is erasing a lot of these moments and these historical artifacts, right? And we also get this moment of Subaru saying, oh, maybe we can make locomotives with like a magic stone-powered engine instead of a steam engine and stuff like that. Subaru is really starting to actively think, and not just about the mechanisms of this world, but like how he can bring it further. And it now, I think in this moment is where Subaru, if he's going up against a mastermind and he's not nerfed like he is in Arc 6, right? He's going to be finding answers a lot quicker than I think any of the players are going to realize. And I think even without RBD, that will be the case. Because he's interacting with all of these different candidates, he has all of these connections. Subaru is like the most connected character in this instance. So he has all of these webs of information that he can pull from, and that makes him extremely dangerous to any plots that are happening. So he's going to be a target almost immediately. And I think he's unknowingly going to make himself a target, and then he might be stuck in a situation where his looping is kind of set because he's been discovered to be a threat, and they're continuously chasing after him. So it's going to be simultaneously dealing with the politics, figuring out the themes, and trying to help the relationships of all of these camp members not fracture, which I'm sure he might fail in some instances, unfortunately. And it's also going to simultaneously be him fighting for his life and trying to figure out who is behind this, and then also prove it, because he'll need wider support. Because, again, big theme of ReZero, right? Like, can't do this alone. So he's going to have to make a coalition of sorts to bring this down. It's going to be, I think, a multifaceted layer problem for Subaru of, like, politics, interpersonal relationships, actual, like, deadly threats to himself. Like, it's going to be all of these things at once, I think.
Interesting. Okay. I'm still of the belief that I think this is going to explode in a powder keg. I just don't personally have any idea how we get there. Yeah, exactly. What the powder is.
The problem is, right, the way that ReZero has been structured recently is that there's going to be a bomb dropped in a narrative sense. Because that's what I feel like that's what Teppei's loved doing. He loves getting the moment where you're building up. He's going and giving the characters motivations. He's fleshing everything out. He's giving you the world. He's giving you plot threads. And then suddenly something crazy happens, and you're like, "What?"
Yeah.
You're like, "What do you mean?"
I mean,
and
yeah,
he loves giving you those.
He loves to do that. I think even like the 100% fake out death of Roy was one of those mini moments for him, right? Like, haha, look, he's dead, guys, right?
Yep. Good luck fixing Rem now. You're gonna have to go back to Spica for any idea.
Because
Like, I'm cool with that. Let's go back and get her right now.
Because come on, there's no way after the awesomeness that was Roy in Arc 9, we can't get more Roy awesomeness in Arc 10, right? Come on. Like,
I mean, because of how good he was in 9, you don't need to do it again in 10.
that is true. That is a point. But all I'm saying is Roy is the perfect wild card for Capella to deploy when...
Yeah, I think it's possible that he's actually dead. But yeah, I think what you guys are saying makes sense.
I think the only reason I don't believe that he's dead, because otherwise I would 100% agree that he is just the fact that Crush did get her memories back through the heal.
But Rem did not.
And she lost them at the same time that Rem's name and memories were eaten, so if it was just killing him would fix that,
It's purposeful.
then it would have restored Rem as well, which it has not.
And yet another
So-
moment of Reinhardt being like, this purple haired guy, you know, he seems kind of cool. What's his deal? Yeah, he wants to fight you. What? Yeah.
Yeah, way to spoil that, Subaru. Good job, dude. That was like gonna be a huge surprise when
Spoilers!
Julius pulls up and beats him. No,
And
but-
he regrets it. He's like, he seems too excited about that.
I do think there's a potential that is Roy's body, however, and that somehow, not really somehow, just with Capella's power, she just broke him up into pieces
Mm.
and can then just put him back together when she needs to.
He's only mostly dead.
That's because I feel like that was a punishment that we got in Meilei's Book of the Dead, right?
I think she was turned into either it was one frog or multiple frogs at once or some shit. It's like really.
That's right. She was split up into multiple living creatures, not
Yeah,
okay.
It's
But still,
devious shit.
yeah. But if she's able to break someone apart like that and put them back together, what's to say that they can't just be put into piles of flesh and put back together?
And it would have to be convincing enough to not make Reinhardt suspicious, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like enough to have them be reasonably called dead, but they were never
Without his
like fully killed.
his divine protection of Sherlock Holmes, whatever the fuck he definitely has coming in. Like,
Yeah.
Hold on, that's not the body.
Divine protection of forensic analysis.
Yeah.
Divine protection of sussing it out.
Divine protection of political savviness.
Possible. Definitely possible.
Certainly possible. I could see it.
But, yeah.
But again, what if Reinhardt's the Synarch Bishop?
Exactly. What if
I
Or
still
he has
believe it.
authority,
Do
I
you
should
know what?
say.
I
I'm on
still
board.
think he's got it.
I am still on board. And it's what's really interesting too is I love that we have all of these like moments throughout the story that have been developed: the royal selection, the Astraea family subplot, the Sin Archbishops, the like growing political like world building and extra layers being added, and it's all culminating onto this, like, you can tell, like, this one big event scenario that is going to happen.
Yeah.
And it feels greatly set up. But I have to give credit to Pay that he's doing a very good job of, like, as we were saying earlier, we don't know what the powder is, right? Like, we don't know what is going to be the spark that initiates this big culmination.
Somebody is holding a match, but we can't see the match.
Yeah.
And we don't know what the fuel is that
Yeah,
they're
we
going
see
to
like
light.
a dark silhouette in the corner. We don't see
This-
Yeah.
Like Subaru's walking around with Al around his neck. If that gets broken, then all hell's gonna break loose.
Mhm.
Like if anyone dies, Roswell's gonna bring down the fire, and
And then
all
we
hell's
soft
gonna
locked.
break loose. If Roy properly escapes, all hell's gonna go loose, and Reinhardt's gonna be occupied the entire time, and it can cause a lot more problems. If Wrath escapes, that's even worse. She's significantly harder to deal with,
Mhm.
especially without, Liliana being readily available.
I just had a little bit of a brain blast moment. This isn't a brain blast moment as that I figured it out. It's just more like something that Beatrice said that really stuck out to me was the memory thing that she was talking about. This, like, curse or like jutsu, this forbidden art.
Dream.
enable memories.
Dream
The
method.
dream thing.
Yeah.
And my guess is that that's how Krush got her memories back. Now, another part about this is very similar to a dream method ability is sort of like um Sirius's powers.
So
So in
like
the
influencing the atmosphere.
Mhm.
yes, in a political arc, the powers that make the most sense are people manipulating others. So we got manipulation in the literal sense. We're going to be playing political games, but we're going to have manipulation in the magical sense.
That's very true. Like, could you imagine like there's a big rally and then Sirius is just cheering on
Oh,
Filore in the
God.
back of the crowd
He's the
and then
best
everyone is
campaign
joining
manager.
in? Yeah. I mean, that's a scary thought.
I mean, this could be a focal point too because of the prejudice against Amelia. Like, Sirius could manipulate that and like really focus the hate, right?
That is true because she's supposed to be like in opposition to the church, right?
Yeah, and Filore is seemingly accepting of this, but most of the church probably are not. And it seems like the church has quite a loyal following within the populace. So
And what if the church is like, we need to give forgiveness to this Synarch bishop,
Mm,
and
No
that's why
one's
she's on
beyond
my
the
team.
healing.
yeah,
Yeah, nobody's on beyond the healing, right? If we saved Krush, we're gonna save this half elf who is also, Synarch bishop. But then it's going to be like, well, she's using her powers to help Filore make up that 1.5 years.
What's
You know what I mean?
What's interesting too is that as we learn in Arc 5, the witch cult is not a very well organized organization and they don't communicate with each other very well. And the only reason they typically end up working together is if their gospels coincide with something, right? And I'm curious if Sirius is going to be kind of moving on her own, kind of outside of Capella and Roy's purview, because Capella has more influence on the Gluttonies and is their mother, quote unquote, right? And they can kind of maybe work a bit more together, a bit more closely. But maybe Sirius is kind of doing her own thing and throws like another wrench into the span. Like she sees an opportunity with all the chaos that gets caused by some of this stuff, and then takes her chance, right? And she wants Geese back,
Mhm.
so she might be gunning for Subaru. And we know that Subaru is a pretty bad match for Sirius because of just how powerfully her authority fucks him over with RBD.
Yeah. There's not really a way to combat against her by just trying really hard over and over.
Yeah, there's no willpowering out of it, you know? So, yeah, dangerous situation all around. It's kind of almost seeming like there's all of these potential things that can go wrong, but almost like, oh, all these things will go wrong, right? Like we have all of these things that are gonna make it's very reminiscent to Arc 5 where like, oh, we have all of these problems, but it's like elevated up to 11 at this point.
One of the reasons
There's-
is this is our home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Question, that's just a reminder. Does Otto have the fixed book?
I think so. Or he's close to.
Was that mentioned?
I feel like it was mentioned.
I know it was mentioned that work on it was done. I'm almost positive. But I don't know if Otto has it yet. Because I
You
thought
think he
that's
might
why
be
he was
using
staying
it?
behind in Pristella.
Yeah.
I think it's possible. And that Otto hasn't had any exposure with like Filore or that side of it himself yet. Where if he might be using it for some political intrigue himself.
This is why Otto's Pandora.
Yeah.
And then there's also the question of how does she fit into all this?
I mean, Subaru's like, who made the witch cult? Because it wasn't Echidna.
Yeah, this idea of like, wait, what? Because he never heard anything but the Saintess and the Valiant, obviously.
Nope.
That is a big lore drop. The client can just drop at any point in time.
Yeah.
I just choose not to.
And also,
But like
an actual threat to Clyde is Pandora. I feel like Pandora kind of screws over him quite hard.
we don't know how her powers work, but let's just say that yes, she screws over everybody.
Yeah.
Right?
Pretty much. It's not really a way to
No viable counter
fully
right
combat
now.
against her. No.
As long as she sees the reality before her and can say it, I think that probably is the limitations, right? She needs to be able to observe the reality and then she needs to be able to say the words.
She doesn't need to be able to say the words because she put herself back together.
Yes, you're right.
It's based on other people's perception. So Subaru might actually be immune to her effects. In the same way that he can ignore some of the rules of other other authorities, like being able to see the invisible hand. It's possible that she might not be able to change his perception of things.
Well, that would be the reason why she hasn't involved herself directly. Maybe that's why she's only in his.
Interesting, yeah, because Subaru is her counter. That's the problem. That's why she hasn't showed up in Subaru's story.
Well, we assume that she's been pulling strings in the background. I forget what we said was like likely a Pandora manipulation, but one that definitely is obviously is the things with Reinhardt's grandma. That said, besides Teresia, there's been like weird decisions that some characters have made that they've stumbled into this or that we're like, well, that sounds too convenient to be true.
That's where some conspiracy elements can come in.
It's been a while. I'd have to like reread some things, but I think like one of the things that we're talking about is the way in which what's her name? Sphinx came into Arc 7-8.
Yeah.
It's like was she manipulated into doing this?
She could be like why everyone sees Melty as Falore. If she can make, herself and Amelia's mother like swap what Goose sees, then there's no reason like everyone sees you as like the perfect princess.
Here's the crackpot theory of all crackpot theories. Prophecy of the Throne, fully canon. Falore is Melty. They just manipulate everyone's memories into believing this new reality.
It's possible. Probably not, though. That one, the whole game being canonized feels out of Tapei's hands.
Yeah.
But there's a lot to still see coming, and I'm super excited to see where this is all going to go. I have no idea where we're going to end up, though.
But that's fun, right? Like, Tapei's done a great job of kind of obscuring stuff, but not making it feel unearned. Like, when it is going to happen, you're like, oh, okay. But it's not like you're right on the money. And I think that's really exciting that Tapei is able to still keep the mystery element of ReZero fresh and interesting.
It is. I mean, like, Arc 9, we knew where it was going to end up, right? Like, we knew the end state pretty early on. We were kind of in denial about it, but we still figured out where it was going to go. I don't see it for this one.
Yeah.
No, this one hasn't shot out of a cannon, right? A lot of the other arcs immediately have like propelled into like craziness immediately. This one feels very tame by comparison at the start. Now, of course, I'm not saying the stuff that has been introduced isn't interesting. I'm just saying that, it's not as frenetic of a pace.
Yeah, we do get a couple of like fun confirmations in this. Obviously stuff we already theorized about before, but like is like hard confirmed. We get some stuff with Otto and Reinhard when they're discussing the Astraea family in general. Reinhard directly confirms that Heinkel's objective is to remove Reinhard as Sword Saint.
Yes, he wants him to be retired. I kind of forgot that wasn't hard confirmed already.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah.
But it very much, like, from a textual perspective, is what was going on. But yeah, it's hard confirmed now.
Just good to know.
And
I like it when the things that you just infer are true.
Yeah.
Because like sometimes you have to infer them, right? And you infer them so much that it becomes the reality.
Yeah.
So like when you're like, oh wait, this is the first time it's ever been actually said, you're not really thinking about it. You're like, yeah, that's right.
And it's the character drama is just so juicy. Like this moment where Otto is talking to Reinhard and he's like seemingly happy because he's bantering with Otto in a way he doesn't banter with other people. And like there's like some sort of wholesomeness underlying there. And then Otto is like, we think your dad might have like ended his own life. Reinhard's like, no, he wouldn't do that.
He's got his goals.
He's got his goals. And then he just looks off into the distance in the camera, just smile dropped, and it's just like, I must be the Sword Saint.
Yeah, no, you don't understand. I must be the Sword Saint. Because without it, what else are you?
Yeah.
if you don't have the sword, can you do anything without it, thief or whatever?
Yeah.
the line is?
And yeah, it's some good ass stuff there. Is all I say. Also, we get another moment. So we get like elaboration on the Dragon Sword Subaru orb stuff from Arc 9, with Reinhardt eyeing up Subaru as he's walking away and holding on to the hilt of the sword.
Yeah, I imagine he's still checking that he can pull it against Subaru,
Yes,
and like,
he is.
this is still strange. Why can I do this?
Why can I pull this on my friend? What changed? What categorically is different?
Boss music.
Well, I don't know if something did change.
If it's
like, we
there
don't
from the
get
beginning,
Reinhardt's
right?
perspective. Is
Yeah.
this just something like he's confirming that he can still pull it against Subaru?
I think that's the implication, especially because in Arc 1 when they do meet, I think he has his hand on the sword at one point. Like, it's almost interesting to me, especially we got the whole thing of the Q&A of Space saying Reinhardt's POV is spoiler, right? Like, I think it's innately saying, oh yeah, from the beginning, like Reinhardt could have drawn the dragon sword on him at any point.
Right. The idea that he knows so much, I mean,
Yeah.
this is the last time we'll be able to gaze calmly at the moon, right?
Yeah.
Like, that seems like a very pointed line, right? There's like mysterious knowledge that Reinhardt has.
Yeah, and it goes beyond the royal selection at that point, right? Like, it's almost saying, oh, this is a big story event happening.
Yeah. And also, like, I think Reinhardt knows somewhat that he's put on this earth to stop Subaru from something. But, like, the earth as in, you know, the Odlagna, yeah, the world. That he, obviously, as like the sage with the witch cults, or the witch factors, he's the antithesis to Odlagna. So, in that case, that's the reason why he's able to pull the sword. You know.
Well, unless he does also have an authority, and this is just like things going strange on that.
Right. He's definitely the Valiant.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. That's what I'll say.
It's
any other like nice and cool moments y'all want to talk about with this?
Oh yes.
Some other fun stuff.
So many. Otto spying with Zodabugs in the palace. My man. Yes.
Zodabugs get so much character that they love Otto and Otto loves them.
Yeah. If anything were to happen to them, what else here? Oh, yes. So just so many of these interactions, like with the Amelia camp back together again, having like some really fun, wholesome moments, but also just like all of these moments with Subaru and Amelia interacting with one character like Wilhelm or Falore or Krush, and just seeing their combined charismatic dynamic that they've got going on, where like they're kind of equal forces within the camp, right?
Yeah.
Is really satisfying to see. There's this one moment where Amelia is talking to Felt, and she's like, "We're gonna be friends," and Felt's like, what?" And then Otto speaks up and is like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna be friends with Anastasia after the royal selection, so why are we pushing the envelope now?" And Amelia's like, "Because I didn't ask Priscilla to be my friend." Oh my god. And so we get this whole very cute dynamic between Felt and Amelia where they promise to be friends, even though politically it's a very bad idea for Felt to agree to that. And that moment where Amelia is mentioning that she can't be friends with Subaru, like, at all. She's not allowed. And you're just like, ah! Go! And then she has another moment later where she's like, you know, people should say when they want to be friends, and people should say when they like each other. And it's just, like internally, it's like immediately like, oh god, do I tell him? Oh.
It is. I obviously loved all the moments with Rem.
Yes.
She's very much her own character here. And going in and seeing her interactions, knowing from like restored Rem that she is already in love with Subaru, even in this state. Mm-hmm. It makes all these moments of, is she just being mean to, oh, she's so fucking funny. She's teasing him so hard. I love it.
I love the callbacks to Arc 1 I love that and it callbacks as in Subaru nostalgically reminiscing about how distant that feels. Like meeting Fel and Rom for the first time, him interacting with Rom for the first time after Arc 3. And getting all of these big moments of Subaru kind of feeling like, wow, I'm kind of returning to this old era of me. It's a very fun way to kind of go, oh yeah, nostalgic fan service, what we've seen before, but also actually connect it to Subaru as a character, of him reminiscing about all of these things.
Yeah, until he starts cringing about how big of a fool he made of himself the last time in the Capitol.
Yeah, and Betty making sure to make fun of him for it. And then
it's like, Rem sympathized with me. It's like, did she, or did I just stand there in total shock, not knowing what to say?
And Amelia,
like, oh no!
And Amelia, as always, saying something that's seemingly kind to Subaru that makes him feel worse about the situation, where she's like, oh, I didn't hate that you were doing that. I was just embarrassed. And Subaru feels even worse about the whole scenario. It's so funny. Oh, and we get this really cute moment where Garth refuses to fight Reinhard because he's not strong enough yet. And Subaru's like, that's my boy, he's all grown up. I'm so proud of you.
How about you, Gold? Any other standout moments from the beginning of Arc 10? It's nice to have like this fun, peaceful time, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the very end is my favorite scene. That scene is very beautifully written, the interlude, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think we covered most of them. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think overall, like, some of the fun world building stuff was cool. Like, for instance, some of the things Felore says, like, she talks about like she's quoting divine dragon religion scripture in some of these chapters.
Oh yeah, that's cute. I like that.
Yeah,
Felore. It gives little insights into what the religion's like.
Felore herself is also adorable. She is a very fun, delightful character. I hope she's not here tricking us the entire time, or if she is, it's not intentional.
Yeah, it would hurt, but maybe it wants to hurt us. But yeah, I think overall, I'm very excited to see where the arc is going, and I'm excited that I don't exactly have a foresight into where it's going either. Like, I have a general, like, there's these interesting interlacing parts of the story that have come before, but we don't have that direct like thing we can point to and say, okay, this is how it's going down, you know? And I think that's really exciting. Because with Arc 9, it's a bit more, like, as the player stated, it's a transitionary arc. There's a bit more a lot of the stuff that was dropped was lore, like very deep character specific things, not like plot beats that were big to be predicted. And it very much feels like Arc 10 is still got the character lore and the world building and all that such, but we're getting a bit more of the plot being a bit more under the veil this time around.
Yeah, which is very different. But I'm excited to be here for it.
Yeah.
I want to see where this all goes.
Politics arc, it's here.
Politics arc.
But yeah, I think we've talked basically all we can out of this one for now. This was so much fun to read and was so much fun to discuss. Thank you everyone who has watched up until this point. Please tell us in the comments what you think. Maybe you'll be able to guess where this arc is going and you'll be like, ha! We knew it.
I want to see some theories and thoughts.
Yeah.
Give me your crackpot. Give me your tinfoil.
Yeah, well, let's do the collective fandom consciousness here and see what comes out of it.
Yeah, this will be fun. But without further ado, thank you everyone for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day or evening wherever you are. And bye-bye!
Bye.
Bye.